Oh, God, I'm old. You know what all old people have in common? Poopy pants and arthritis. Nostalgia. I've played so many video games over the years, starting at a young age. When I was a kid, I didn't have many games, so the ones I did have, I played a lot. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, taking a trip down memory lane to my gaming past. Some of these games I haven't really played since I was a kid, so I thought it would be fun to ruin all of these fond childhood memories of these gaming 10 out of 10s, because I only play bangers. Without further ado, these are my most nostalgic games from my childhood. I'm going to be breaking up this list into two categories, the N64 and my original Xbox, because these were the two consoles that I had as a kid. But I also have some extra ones that I'm going to be throwing in at the end because I played a lot of these at friends and family's houses. The N64 was the first console I had as a kid. And boy did it bang. I had to go get the controller for this bit. I still hate the controller, but for some reason holding it makes me feel safe. The first game I got on the N64 was Pokemon Stadium, because it was the Pokemon Stadium bundle. Now, this not only was my first N64 game, but it was also my first Pokemon game. And that's not a great thing. The entire gimmick of this game is to make a team on your Pokemon Game Boy games, and then transfer them over to the Stadium game and have a good time. Well, I didn't have a Game Boy, and I was 3. I never understood the basic rock, paper, scissors mechanics of Pokemon, so for my team, I would just get the 3 legendary birds, Charizard, Jolteon, and Kangaskhan, or sometimes Hitmonlee. I've never beaten this game. There are lots of fun things that I loved about Pokemon Stadium back in the day. The minigames were some of my favorites that my sisters and I played the crap out of, all very different and entertaining. I liked doing the battles against the Elite Four, even though I never beat them. The different gyms with different Pokemon level requirements was great too. It forced me to try different Pokemon for my team. And then when you beat a cup, you see your Pokemon in the trophy center. I played this game very, very wrong, and I want to do a video on it in the future, so stay tuned. Seeing this game boot up makes me happy. I have lots of fond memories of watching my uncles and my dad play through this game, showing me all the different tricks and secrets hidden throughout Mario 64. The levels are all great, except for Tick-Tock Clock and Rainbow Ride. The music bangs, Mario's movesets bang, most of the star puzzles bang. I jump into paintings to enter levels, or I look up to the sky and get teleported to heaven, or I get really, really small and I dive headfirst into a cage. I think Super Mario 64 has one of the greatest opening levels in any game. I still remember most of the stars in that one from off the top of my head. The first star, you climb the mountain to King Bob-omb. The next star, you go and butt slam that log thing and the Chain Chomp smashes the cage. Another star, you end up flying, you get the red cap and you fly up into the sky and you get those stars. The 8 red coins, you race the Koopa Kid up the top of the thing, but you cheat because you go in a little teleporter on the side of the wall. Another one, you have to butt slam the 4 logs that are off to the left. You have the 100 coin star that nobody ever got. Then you have the other star where you jump on the one Koopa guy and his shell pops off and then you ride it. Wait, that wasn't a star, that's just the best part of the game. The Bowser levels were great. Going inside of a volcano was great. Playing with Mario's face is great. It also has one of the best file select themes ever. I've already made a video about Mario 64, so I will link it in the description. This may be my favorite Zelda game of all time purely because of nostalgia. I'm on the record saying Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, but Ocarina of Time is like your family dog you've had your entire life. Even though it's old and parts have aged like milk, you can't help but love it to death. I love the atmosphere, I love the music, the themes about childhood and growing up. I love the Shadow Temple and the Water Temple. Fighting Ganondorf was always so much fun for me. And I also watched my uncle play through this one a lot too. I love Ocarina of Time and play through it frequently. I've also already made a video on Ocarina of Time that I will link down below as well. Excitebike 64 sucks so good and I love it. I recently heard that phrase from a YouTuber, so I stole it. My dad and I used to be big dirt bike junkies back in the day. I mean, he still is. I'm more of a shut-in nerd nowadays, but we played lots of motocross games with Excitebike 64 being our first. This game was and is so hard. The handling is rough, and each rider you select has different stats. The two I remember my dad always picking, and in turn me always picking, was Nigel the Duke York and Tricky Ricky Stern. Nigel is fast, but handles like garbage, and Ricky is slow, but handles great. The courses are fun. We always called this one the Jump of Life because you jump over the canyon. There are indoor and outdoor courses, and quite a few at that for you to race in. Growing up, I always wanted to be a pro rider, and would always reenact the scene where when you win the whole thing and you get first place on the podium, your riders take off their helmets, revealing their beautiful faces. God, that's a kissable face. Excitebike 64 also has minigames from playing soccer to hill climbing, and even the original Excitebike built in. It also has a course editor, which is super dope. Fun game, it's bad, don't play it, there's plenty of better motorcycle games out there. Everyone hates this game, but I'm not everyone. Don't worry, baby, they didn't mean it. Donkey Kong 64 was an absolute treat for my sisters and I back in the day. This game is huge, with so much to do and collect. We spent who knows how many hours playing this game, collecting all the bananas, the coins, crowns, medals, blueprints, keys, fairies. Yeah, it's a lot, but the beauty of it is you don't have to get all of it. Boss fights are great, exploring the huge hub world is awesome. I loved as a kid every time you helped out K. Lumsy and he opened up a new part of the world, be it in the side of Donkey Kong's head or the mouth of K. Rool's ship. The levels are very fun and unique to explore. Frantic Factory was and still is my favorite. The music bangs and is very memorable. Anytime you hear a song from DK64, you immediately know it's from this game. Or Banjo-Kazooie. The minigames range from super fun to rage-inducing. You get to play as 5 Kongs, which is good and bad. The levels feeling segmented sucks, but I'm a stand of filling the levels up with tons of crap to collect because more is better for the average player. And once again, you don't have to collect everything. Most casual players won't. I tried as a kid with nothing on my plate to 100% this game, but some of those barrel minigames are just hard as hell, and I couldn't for the life of me beat the original Donkey Kong arcade machine. It's bullshit, you shouldn't require me to beat that damn one. The game also has multiplayer. Now we are onto the Xbox category. These games are a little more mature because I was a little more mature. The only reason my dad got me an Xbox was because of Halo. Halo for me can be summed up into 2 words: couch co-op. I played so much Halo with my dad back in the day. That was how we bonded, shooting aliens and the Marine that always gets into the Warthog gunner. My dad always liked to be in the gunner, so I got stuck driving. Except for the Scorpion, for some reason he never let me drive it. The combat of Halo is what set it apart from every other game back in the day. Simple, yet so much fun. The Golden Triangle consisted of shooting, punching, and grenading. The sandbox and randomness that would occur anytime we play through Halo would make me laugh. Sometimes grunts accidentally throw a grenade at one of their own, causing a huge explosion. Sometimes elites would dive off cliffs to avoid grenades. Sometimes banshees would smash into the ground trying to kill you. The levels are all unique and memorable. So memorable that you get to play through some of them a second time. Truth and Reconciliation, where you're a stealth sniper, is a ton of fun. The snow level is long, and you get a Scorpion that you get to watch your dad drive. Finding out about the flood for the first time was a trip. And then to top off your epic sci-fi journey with a Warthog escape sequence, which your dad made you drive when you were younger, so every time you flipped, he could get mad at you. Halo slaps, man. I wish I could love new Halo as much as I love old Halo. The next game is cheating because it's just a bunch of games in one, but I wanted to quickly talk about it because my friends and family and I played it a whole bunch. It's the Xbox Exhibition demo disc with 9 games. The 3 that I remember playing the most was NBA Inside Drive 2003, which I later purchased, MX Superfly, which is one of my favorite dirt bike games still, and Kung Fu Chaos, a goofy as hell party game. Lots of different minigames here to mess around with. We also played one called Vex, which I later purchased as well. There was also music videos and trailers for other games to sell people on. Demo discs are a thing of the past, but I remember them very fondly. I love Lord of the Rings more than I love food. Ever since I was a kid, this has been my favorite bit of media entertainment I could consume. I loved the movies, so my dad bought me the video games. The Two Towers is great and may be the better game, but I played so much Return of the King with my friends and family. I got more characters to play as and got to interact with the story that I love so much. It's a simple hack and slash with cool weapon and combo upgrades you can purchase from killing enemies throughout each stage. I remember first playing this game with my cousin. His parents would go to Hollywood Video, the Blockbuster in my hometown, and rent movies. They would graciously let us rent a game, and I remember renting this one often trying to beat it. We could never figure out how to get past the Oliphant mission without them killing Eowyn and Merry. The level design is a little iffy and is hard to tell that you just need to walk over this hill. The camera with co-op is tough. Also, one of the first missions had you escaping from a cave before it collapses and is much harder with 2 people. If one person dies, you both die and fail the mission. Lord of the Rings is better than Star Wars and Harry Potter. Whew. Glad I finally got that off my chest. Munch's Odyssey is a very weird game. It's a puzzle game through and through, but so freaking weird. I can make my gamers burp and fart. It's kind of an unhinged game that I played a ton of back in the day. It has some pretty mature themes that went over my kid brain, but I didn't care. I got to solve puzzles by saving gamers. These little fuzzy guys are so cute, and little monsters at the same time. It's a very wacky game, and I really haven't played any other game quite like it up to this point in my life. It has a fun little story and some great humor thrown in throughout. I can make my guy fart. What else do you need? Star Wars Battlefront was such a banger back in the day. It's a third-person shooter where you get dropped into a map, and really your only objective is to capture command posts and kill all the other gamers on the map. This one didn't have traditional objectives to do like in number 2, which I kind of liked a bit more. This was also how I got a lot of my Star Wars movie lore back in the day, because of the clips that you would get. I enjoyed being able to play as multiple factions as well, and always hated fighting the droids, specifically because of those damn droidicas. Those little bald shielding asswipes are so hard to kill. It was a blast, I enjoyed it. Simple game for a simple brain. My cousin got the first LEGO Star Wars back in the day, and I was jealous. Every time I went to his house, all I wanted to do was play LEGO Star Wars, but since he owned it and played the crap out of it, he never wanted to play when I would hang out. While I totally understand, I was sad nonetheless. So eventually, I got LEGO Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, and had a field day with that one. I got the better Star Wars movies video game. Movies, video. I got to play as Luke Skywalker and Harrison Solo, along with Princess Leia, Jabba the Hutt edition. LEGO Star Wars scratched my collectathon itch. Finding the mini kits throughout each stage was a blast, and hot take, going back to previously visited levels with new characters was actually enjoyable. I usually hate that in games, but in this one, I didn't mind it at all. LEGO Star Wars is a kid game through and through, and I still like it. So I don't know what that says about me. This is probably the game that I have the most nostalgia for. Whenever I need to play it to get footage, I usually end up playing through all of it. I don't know why, but I thoroughly and unironically enjoy playing through Gauntlet Dark Legacy. I played a ton of it back in the day, especially with my sisters. I have the entire game memorized because of how much I've played. I would pick the Blue Warrior or Blue Knight, blue's my favorite color, and blast through this simple dungeon crawler RPG. It's fun collecting all sorts of things, leveling up my character, and slaying every mob in each level. There are many stages to play through as well, so there's plenty of content here. And I wish to God that somebody would remake this game. Or make a new good Gauntlet game. Will we ever get it? Probably not. But I've already made a full video on this game as well, so I will link that down in the description too. The last 3 games I wanted to throw in there are Donkey Kong Country. I played this one a ton with my cousins back in the day. This game was fun, and I played as Diddy Kong and always ended up finishing the levels because my cousin played as Donkey and would end up dying at the end of the stage, giving me the victory. The soundtrack is amazing. Super Mario World is a banger, and I played a ton of that with my cousins back in the day. And the last one is Sonic Adventure 2. I played through that one within the last few years, and honestly, the game for the most part is pretty bad, but the good parts are really freaking good. Sonic's and Shadows levels slap. City Escape is one of the best openings in any video game, and the chows are the very best part of the game. Play Sonic Adventure 2 for the Tamagotchi simulator. And that's it. Those are my most nostalgic games I played as a kid. Thinking about them and replaying them takes me back to when I was a kid. I may not get the same feeling today, but I've got so many great memories because of these games. Let me know what your most nostalgic games are that you played a ton of as a kid. Did you play some of the more obscure ones that I did? Am I really old? Donkey Kong 64 is actually a good game? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and as always, keep it rad.